Hello, welcome to the stream. This is 181, Devstream 181. Now it's on an odd number because I've had a couple things where I had to skip. In fact, I might have to skip on Monday because we have a new washing machine coming in. Our washing machine just decides it wants to walk out the room now, so uh, we pretty much need to give it a leash or get a new washing machine. Well, we've had this one for like we've been here about 11 years now since we've been in Florida, so I guess it's due. Honestly, it should last longer than that, but whatever. Anyways, so I may or may not be streaming on Monday. It kind of depends on when they come. It kind of depends on what I have to do, etc., and so forth. So it might be another stupid. I don't know. Maybe I should take another week off. I mean, it seems like I'm doing every other 2 weeks now. I could probably do that, I suppose. Maybe I will take next week off. I mean, I still have to do stuff here in the stupid house, anyways, and I'm never able to get it done. Um, so maybe this time should be the time I should actually get some work done, right? Anyways, give me just a couple of minutes while I go ahead and paste the link to the stream. What's this? Come on, where's Discord announcements? Uh, okay, let's go to where am I going? Make sure that I'm in self promo and redot. And there's Greggy and me. All right, let me go ahead and post these here. I guess that first 10 minutes, right? So 11:40 is when I should actually start, more or less. I mean, it kind of depends on how much I'm doing, how fast I'm going. 181 part 1. Yeah, we're gonna. Oop. Uh-oh. Doggone it. This is when you do a Control C just with nothing. Gets me off. Um, Hold on, let me recents. Okay. And let me copy this down here. That I can go ahead and reclose that as long as I don't hit Control C again. Control V. Because yeah, so basically all I'm doing here. Uh, um, we all would like money on our streaming stuff. In fact, that's still kind of why I'm doing this. I'm still doing this for money, or not that I think I'll necessarily get a bunch of money or anything like that. Just that now I can go back to read out discussion. There we go. Just that that's what I want to do. I don't have many skills to speak of. And then and I don't have a job, which I guess maybe it's because I'm lazy or something. But I like to make money through this, but making money via games is extremely risky. Risky in the fact that there's so much competition, there's so much free stuff you can get. There's even if you do something good, doesn't mean you'll make that much money off of it. There's just so much things pulling so many people's attentions and stuff. And when you when you work hard for a year or 2 years on something really huge, and then you only make like a few thousand from it, it's like almost not worth your time. Like you get a regular job. So that's why I decided to forego the whole, trying to sell something. Focus on the game. Focus on the YouTube channel by focusing on the game. In other words, I'm not really, if I was maybe if I was smart, I'd be focusing just on YouTube, just on getting views and clicks, and I might be doing tutorials. I might be doing I don't know. I'd probably be doing anything else than working on a game. You know, um, in order to get tons of viewers and clicks and all that stuff. And I like this idea of doing something that you like, and then that other people like seeing you do, and like joining you on the journey, and then somehow supporting you through that. Not that I'm not like yeah, like you've seen. I haven't like begged people for money. I mentioned I have a Patreon, but I don't even have it halfway set up, so I'm not asking anybody to like join, join on Patreon. I couldn't offer you anything, even if I had everything set up. Really, in fact, it's all going to be like digital kind of stuff. But yeah. Anyways, so today should be pretty much a normal day. So I got everything there, and so now I guess we can let's just go to desktop. Here we are at desktop, which is cool. I wonder if, hmm, I don't know if I'm a little out of sync or not. I'm just, when I'm looking at, here, let's go back to webcam for just a second. Um, it looks a little bit sluggish. Not a lot. I mean, not that you would really be able to tell a lot, but I see it when I look at it. It's not. It's like almost real time, but not quite, or something. And this is off the OBS side. I don't mean off of like YouTube and stuff. Anywho, I got about 2 minutes left, and what I should do in my 2 minutes here, actually. Um, there we go. I'm gonna. It's kind of annoying when Restream puts their little advertisement thing on the top of your description, because that's what most people see, like YouTube. I don't know about Rumble. Rumble, it doesn't seem to show up on Rumble because somehow they don't have the thing with Rumble kind of set up the same way. But here, okay, let's actually here. I'll go back to desktop here while I'm doing this. Okay, so let's see how it sounded. Okay, and yeah, yeah, I'm looking over at my side screen here. You call it side screen, side TV, whatever. I could say it secondary monitor, although technically it's not a monitor, it's a TV. Um, Actually, ideally, I should find some old used LCD panel that's just like an old 4:3 aspect ratio, like when they were first starting to put them out. When we still weren't doing widescreen yet, even in computer graphics. I mean, computers, anyways. We still weren't doing widescreen in computer games, and use that as a secondary monitor because that would make things a little bit more. Um, I'd still have to turn my head because the my main monitor is pretty wide, but um, it'd be easier. Like I could actually shrink everything and make sure everything is just in this like one area and not off the wide area, which means I have to shrink everything down even further. But I could do that. I mean that wouldn't be too hard to do. Sort of. It'd be kind of annoying to do, I guess. Hmm. All right. Uh, why is Rumble saying offline? I don't think Rumble's offline though. I think it's still. Is it? Yeah, Rumble is still here. Here I'm gonna wave in front of the screen and see where see how far back the delay is because I think it's saying it's live. Yeah, see, it's a little ways off, but it's there. Oh, not saying streaming. It's saying offline before. Okay, so let me go ahead and let's test the restream chat. Testing restream chat. I don't know how other people do this stuff, you know? I mean, I'm totally non-professional. I have to, in order to get people to watch, I have to go out and like post everywhere. And honestly, I should be getting involved with these communities and not just trying to post my links to my streams. But like, I can't get anything done if I spend time doing that. So that's why I do it this ways. But I don't know. They got overlays, they got full setups and stuff, and I'm kind of behind the eight ball and everything. I'm using LMDE6, which is using older NVIDIA drivers, and it's a pain in the butt to upgrade the drivers. And because of that, I'm running OBS 29. In fact, oh, that's right. I tried to install a whatever the newest version was, like I don't know, last year, a few months ago, or whatever, and it needed more modern drivers before it would run, and so I have to revert back to this one, and this is the one that's on the Debian repositories. So it's like version 29, so it's an old version. So I can't even make use of the newer stuff unless I either reinstall. I can either reinstall. I can install Linux Mint proper. That means wiping out my drive. That means reinstalling everything and all that mumbo jumbo. In fact, I'm dual booting with Windows, although I haven't used Windows for months now. And yeah, let's see some here. Oh, okay. Restream chat worked. I'm gonna refresh here. So um, it would take an overhaul. Would take some time. Would take quite a bit of time to go and see the thing that I was wanting to do. I was going to put everything on a virtual drive, basically, where I take my whole SSD, 1 gig, and then put it on my hard drive, and then run VirtualBox, and then I'd run a version of Linux portably, and then run VirtualBox on that just to see if I could run everything as I have it now, including Linux Mint Debian and all that stuff, just on off of the hard drive and the USB. And that way I'd still have access to everything the way it is right now. And if something went wrong, I could restore it. And if nothing went wrong, then the downtime would be minimal. You know, I was gonna do that, and I started to do that, and then it takes a while. It takes a while just to do a whole bunch of stuff like that. You know, I have to. It takes hours just to get everything working. I have to. Uh, what I have to do is I have to start from scratch now. So I have to copy. I have to do a copy. I think I use DD in Linux too, and I was like running on Foxclone or something, but I just did a basic disk image like disk clone, byte for byte disk clone of my current SSD. So I have to do that. Then you load up VirtualBox, and then you have to convert that to a disk, a virtual disk that VBox can use. And then I have to run it and see if it works okay. And then if everything works like it's supposed to, then I have to go and find some version of Linux that I can put onto a USB drive. In fact, the one I have using Ventoy, I can use that to boot it into it into the Linux. Then set up VirtualBox on that to see if I can't run my system off of that virtual disk. And then when I do that, then I can do the thing of where I actually wipe off my SSD from probably just from the USB drive, but wipe off the SSD. Then I go in and I install Linux proper onto a Linux Mint proper onto the SSD, where it can use the whole SSD, except for something. Maybe I'll designate half of it as my home drive. They claim you don't need a lot of stuff, like you don't need a lot of room for your stuff, but when you're installing programs, if you install programs that have a lot that take up lots of space, it's going to go into your It's gonna go into your home drive. It's gonna go to your home drive, isn't it? Or no, you install programs and it goes into your, it goes into the other thing. Your home drive is your home drive. I don't remember. Anyways, the thing is it still takes up a lot of space if you're gonna install programs that take up space. You know, if I want to install games, games are gonna install and it's gonna use up whatever available space I have there. And I only have one terabyte, one terabyte of on that my drive. So I don't know. It's a big pain in the butt. Takes a lot of time, and I'm wasting time. And I don't mean to do that, but that's just me. You know. Oh, there's Keith again. He's wasting time again. I guess I won't see him making some game today. Anyways, here, let's go back to hey Rook. Sorry I didn't mention you in IRC. I was busy setting things up, and then I started talking, and you know how it gets when I start rambling. So I'm Mr. Rambler, Mr. Rambling Face, Ramble Face, or whatever. Okay. Um, Now here I'll show you what I was working on last night. Right? If I do this, it doesn't respect. See, this is working, but once I let go, it's not going to work anymore. If I do this, I can let go of the key, but I need to be able to move everything selected if I click on something selected. That's something I'll have to fix today in part two. Um, but in any case, let's go to the thing at hand, which is this Princess Prep, and I'll bring up my notes, which I kind of brought all of them up, and we're gonna have to go through. Let's see how fast I can, just from pure standpoint of the thing here is though, um, yeah, sorry, my speech is a little disjointed sometimes. It's the way my brain works. It works in fits and starts, and so fits and starts. Is that another word for farts? Fits and starts. That's what a fart is, isn't it? Okie dokie. Here, here, I'll go ahead and here. Uh, here, there we go. That's just so you know that I saw you say good evening and hi and stuff. I wasn't ignoring you on purpose. Um, okay, so we have the thing here. Okay, so first of all, he's got to find his way into Princess Prep. Now, Headmistress' office is at the back. There's a window, a bay window that they did not board up because they didn't figure people would go around uh, poking around in Princess Prep, and they figured that it doesn't need a magic like magic word on it or anything. Doesn't need anything kind of magic stuff in it. Wizard U is a little bit different. Um, Fairy God College is probably like Wizard U. It probably they're actually actively doing stuff in Wizard U, and so Princess Prep is the only one that's closed that they don't care if somebody goes into because they don't expect people to be poking around there. I mean, I could do, I mean, I suppose it's just explaining it away, but I'm just gonna go with it just because I don't want to screw around with thinking up, like I forgot what I was saying. Um, oh yeah, now it's still locked, but it doesn't have any major kind of magic deal. Like I said, they never figured that anybody would be poking around there and wouldn't find anything of interest. The big mistake that they made, which I mean, I guess you could call it a plot hole, or you could say it's not a plot hole; it's a mistake they made, because I don't know. We watch movies and stuff and play games, and there's places where there are plot holes. In other words, the what did I say? Okay, so Violet enchanted these plants in the headmistress' office, and they managed to wrap their leaves around her and trap her inside. You could say that was a plot hole. Well, it wouldn't be a plot hole though, because I'm doing it intentionally, right? Because it's actually, in a story you write everything in there, right? So a plot hole is usually something that you don't intend. That would be a mistake. That somebody would make the mistake. So there's a possibility that somebody would be smart enough not to do that with the headmistress, but instead, take her off somewhere, do something to her, banish her, do whatever, put a spell on her or something, um, where she wouldn't come in contact with people. And it would also be smart to magically ward the Princess Prep. And there's a ton of things, but you could say sometimes you overlook stuff. Even the bad guys overlook stuff sometimes, right? In fact, that's how you have some stories. A lot of stories kind of do the plot hole thing where you're just like, well, why can't they just do this? And you're like, it's kind of lame because they didn't think of something that you thought of that was pretty simple to think of, usually. So this is not technically a plot hole because it's intentional. There's an intentional thing here where I know the fact that they're probably kind of dumb to do it that way. So in fact, they're also dumb to leave the itinerary around. But like they said, that they didn't figure anybody first that they would break in the first place. Certainly that nobody externally would come, and this is the one of the things getting a fresh pair of eyes. This is kind of why Hubert went out and found John. He found John because he knew that somebody from some other world, other realm, might see things that might pick up something that you didn't pick up because you see this stuff every day, and to you it's nothing, but to him it might be something. I almost should have made him. He's into fantasy books, but I almost should have made him like into like mystery books, not into fantasy at all. But playing into this fact that it actually helped them solve these mysteries. I might do that too. I might make him where he's into mysteries, not into fantasy at all. You know, he really loves a good mystery, right? And so this is a mystery, and the way he does it is he finds clues. You ever watch Columbo? Where he's like picking up, there's a cigarette butt somewhere, or some food or something, and he picks it up. Usually, if there's food, Columbo's eating it, even if it's even if it's the scene of a crime. But there's in these mystery shows, there's always like some little clue that somebody else kind of overlooked because it's not important or because they just didn't see it or something. And so I could actually play that up. I could make him a mystery buff, and that's the reason he is able to actually glean the information because he's able to observe this thing. He's thinking like a detective instead of somebody else. If you're into fantasy or adventure, you're thinking fantasy and adventure. You're not thinking, what clues could lead to what, right? But a mystery buff would be all into the clues. No, no clues too small, right? So there's itinerary on the desk where she's supposed to go. There is um, the tickets are missing. I think I don't know if I had the thing about the tickets in here. Um, Anywho, I think I am wasting time, ain't I? There's the itinerary. Uh, Muffled sounds. Still can't see what it is. Examine the plants. Let her go. Uh, oh, and she could see a little bit. Is the idea in here, which is another thing that that the bad guys didn't think about her. They made they slipped up. Pull out various odds and ends, right? So now here is the thing. I don't know if in the full version if you might see the itinerary, but you might not know that there are tickets. I said hotel tickets though. It wouldn't be hotel tickets, would it? It would be I don't know. Maybe your room key. Wouldn't be a tickets, right? I mean, there'd be tickets if she were a tourist, she'd have tickets. But here she doesn't. Here she has uh, a hotel key, right? Okay. Hotel reservations, maybe. Maybe that'll be in it, or maybe it doesn't even matter because yeah, itinerary is the important part. The important part is to see where she went because tickets aren't going to mean much. Itinerary, there were reservations, there were stuff like that, right? She's a visiting dignitary and she's a guest speaker, and so they pay for her trip there, including comping everything. So I am kind of, and they started this Monkey Island and what the Carnival of Damned or whatever, but like Super Monkeytronics. Um, but I could also do a thing in Enchanted where they do have rides and attractions. You could ride the ride of slaying a dragon, or you could slay a dragon. And I'll make him like super dumb or spoof or whatever kind of thing. Um, okay. See, I said hotel tickets. You don't have tickets to a hotel, do you? That's not it. You have a reservation. Um, hmm. Mm, okay. Get back to Fairy God College. The neighbor spoke up. Okay, so let's see how if we can do this fast because really I have everything done, everything made up and stuff. So in a sense, this shouldn't take very long, should it? Right. Okay, he learns the first spot was the Grand Enchanted Hotel. And that's kind of the big takeaway here. The big takeaway. The other takeaway is that Violet was there, and the male voice told her to go back to Fairy God College. So those are two important pieces of information that he learns. Okay, so the other way is, and we can do this more straightforward. He gets in the window. There's no magic words on it. Nothing. They didn't figure it was important. Uh, and you know it's their slip up, their loss, I guess, for being otherwise smart villains. So I guess okay, so I guess there's two choices right from the start. When you get into the office, you can look at the desk, and then you can also look at the plant. Right, the plants. Uh, And maybe I'll have a thing. Normally you have a look in a adventure game. Maybe this will be a choice. Examine the room. Look over the room. Uh, or no, that would just be the description. You look over the room. You notice there's a couple of plants. One of them seems to be shuddering slightly, and one of them seems to be shuddering slightly. And then there's also a desk and some filing cabinets, maybe something like that, like you'd find in an office, I guess. And so you can. Okay, so here's the thing. Sometimes in these games, you put stuff in there. You can do a red herring, or you can do a thing that isn't important. But if you're drawing attention to something, you better have something important. So if I have a filing cabinet in there, I might need something important in the filing cabinet that would something important in the filing cabinet that would make it something significant. I don't need to say there's a filing cabinet there, but if I'm trying to describe an office and I say there's a filing cabinet there, and I don't have anything for the filing cabinet, are you going to be reading that and kind of going, well, can I check out the filing cabinet? You know? That there's desks there and there's some plants there, and you want me to you want me to check out the plants, but you don't want me to check out the filing cabinet, which should have important information, right? Right. Okay. Maybe Violet's a disgruntled princess, and okay, so it kind of depends. You check out the filing cabinet. Um, you're looking through it, and maybe you see Violet's file there from when she was actually a student there, when it was still a regular school. Hmm. Yeah, there's a deal between her and Red Riding Hood. Well, I know I call her Scarlet now. Red Riding Hood was originally going to be in there as Red Riding Hood, but I realized that was the only fairy tale character. The rest of them weren't actual fairy tale characters; they were just something made up. So I decided I would leave it in there, but give her a name so that she has kind of her own identity and stuff. Okay, so what could be? See, I don't know what kind of important information John could find out about Violet by looking at her file. What's so important about her file? The headmistress is going to say, I heard the voice. I recognize that voice. It was Violet Moonshadow. And is there a way I could tie it to anything? That's the question. I don't have anything that I remember in my notes that would facilitate tying it to that. So I'm not sure here. This is why I have problems. Why it takes me weeks to get one thing done. I could ask the I guess. I was gonna try to do this on my own, but now I'm finding I might have to ask the AI. Um, well, okay. So the one thing is Violet took half of Hubert's magic, okay, and literally didn't really take it. What happened is Hubert gave it to her because he thought they were gonna get married, and she turned tail and run back to Max, and so now he knows that Violet took his magic. Um, and I don't know if the player knows it just yet. So that could possibly tie in. So how could that tie in? Um, the original idea was she would turn in turn give that magic to Max, and he would get more powerful. But I don't know if that's the way. I mean, he does give half of his magic away, so there's still got to be some way that that actually works. There could be a thing that in school, what had happened here was, even though it was not her taking magic directly, um, no, that would be something gets something gets red, scarlet, something gets red that red doesn't necessarily have any magic. She's not a sorceress or anything, so that would probably be out. There could be a little bit of a link to the fact that um, Max used to be Red's boyfriend, and Violet stole him from her, and that would play in because they still have a deal where she gets tries to get rid of Red. And Max finds out about it. You know what? Let's check that up. Let me go look that up. So it's kind of cool. I mean, uh, you know, I used to kind of eschew design documents as being like too kind of rigid, and you'd have the design document and things might change, you know. And so putting a bunch of stuff in to document just seemed like a bunch of work that I didn't want to do beforehand. And yeah, all I'm doing here is I had notes that I took for the plot outlines and stuff, and then I just started adding to the notes. So, um, but it kind of helps to have that. It helps to have that backup because now I can go to because I made up the story. Now I can go to the different part of the story and go, oh yes, this is this is what happened here. Um, so let's see something here. Red. See, see if I can say Scarlet. See if I can find Scarlet. The word Scarlet in here. Scarlet. Something like that. I don't know how I spell it. Scarlet Red Clover. Um, Max gets her out of hiding to build the werewolf army. She realizes the fact that Max can actually remove the curse from them being werewolves when he has no intention of freeing them from the curse. She also lies about the reason she hunted them, saying that he tested this experimental spell about capturing these werewolves, and the reason they're still missing is because they were cured of the curse. Subplot: she's searching for the werewolf that ate Grandma. She finds out that it was Kurt who ate her grandma, and she confronts him and then grabs. He then grabs her and heads in the woods, where, after a few short screams, is never heard from again. Okay, so demonstrate the. Okay, so this is okay. Struggles. All right. Uh, been in hiding ever since Grandma got eaten by a werewolf, but instead of being in fear, she's been busy piecing together who did it. When Max comes to call, she actually is ready and agrees to try to raise Max's werewolf army. We're trying to talk the werewolves into joining Max's army. She's been profiling each member of the wolf pack. She ends up eliminating most of the werewolves that want to be free from the curse, leaving Kurt and his followers. After an exhaustive search, she finds Kurt is the culprit. She's about to use a magic mirror to contact Max when Kurt confronts her. Kurt then confirms but also mentions how it was Max who ordered it um, in order to be able to control her. She goes to rejoin Max about the decision of the army and asks him if it's true that he ordered her to get Grandma. Max replies he doesn't know what she's talking about, and she goes back to the wolf pack, and then Kurt jumps out of the bushes. Um, now, Kurt might change Kurt's main plot to find a way to strengthen the curse so that the werewolf army could be even more powerful. Possibly wanting to get control of Max's full operation, Kurt's subplot might involve secretly turning werewolves against Rottweiler before. And I know some of these names are kind of dumb, right? Rottweiler is just the name of a dog, and so I was naming one of them Rottweiler. Um, Kurt is second in command. Uh, Shows up the werewolf village. Kurt, okay, so here we go. Uh, she offers the werewolf leader Rottweiler a chance to get rid of the curse he's been keeping that's been keeping them wolves for generations. Kurt recognizes her right away and figures this might be a good time to take over the pack. Kurt remembers the rivalry between Red and Violet and seeks out Violet to ask her to help him become the leader of the pack, which she agrees if he eliminates Red. Okay, so here's the deal, right? Uh, Kurt returns to the now. Okay, so here's the one that's out here is Violet kind of has the power here, right? And so okay, so it's a little one sided. It's a little bit weird, but okay. So what I was thinking was the fact that Violet stole Max from her, right? And this is why they have a rivalry or why they don't like each other. Um, I could still do that, you know. And eventually, Max takes care of Violet. Little spoiler there. Um, when Max still kind of has a soft spot for Red, it wasn't necessarily that he was going to turn to her because Violet was his kind of his right hand woman there, and so this little weird little love triangle thing, um, which is I guess a little too heavy for a comedy fantasy with that's supposed to be appropriate for all ages. But I don't do anything like weird or sexual or anything like that. So it's just it's this little thing where they both like Max. Violet took Max away from Red, and so she's never liked Violet ever since. And then I mean I can still do it this way. It's a little weak, right? Okay, so the reason I say it's kind of weak is because she has already stolen. If the idea is she already stole Max from Red, then she also doesn't still need to get rid of her. So it's kind of weak in the way it's structured. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. Basically, um, basically, it should almost be the other way around in a way. For instance, um, Red steals Max from Violet. So ever since then, Violet has a hatred of her, and then that's why she'd want her dead. And then he ends up using Kurt to take care of her, and that would be a little bit stronger than. I mean, I could almost still do that, but if it were the case, it was the other case. How come Max is with Violet now? How come he's not with Red anymore? Oh, also, I think Violet had something to do with Red's grandmother. I mean, it was Kurt that did it, but I'm not sure. Um, anyways, red ends up getting jumped no matter how you look at it. Yeah, I wonder something. Let's see something here. It shows up in the World Village. Max. Okay. Max is getting tired of Violet and remembers what a fun time he had with Scarlet Red Clover. He decides to bring her out of hiding. Also remember her wolf's hide side hustle. And also decides he wants to recruit her to recruit rebels for the army for his army. And he wants her to be with him when he finally starts conquering realms. Uh when Red doesn't come back, Max starts getting suspicious, asks a trusted servant to find out what happened to Red. Servant comes back and says she's been disposed of by Kurt. Sad and a little angry, he asks Violet to accompany him to the World Village to see if they can figure out what happened to Red. Violet doesn't resist, as she figures she'll think of something by the time they get there. So after talking to both of them, he decides to dispose of her with some fireball spell, and Kurt jumps in the way and is killed. Max grabs the totem leadership and tells Werewolf it's the first one that gets her to keep the totem and become the new leader. Thorn runs after Violet in the forest and returns to say she's done. Um, and then Max says he'll only give back the totem if they join his army, which they do. Um, Rigo's when Red doesn't come back, Max starts getting suspicious. Uh, Furious, Max grabs the totem leadership. Okay, so I don't know. Hmm. Okay. So the thing is who ate Grandma? That's what I. Well, I mean I know Kurt did, but who commanded Kurt to do that? Go find. Let's find Grandma. Might be a neat thing I need to do. Okay. Grandma. Uh, Next replies he doesn't know she's talking about. Goes back to the wolf pack. Um, there. Okay, so there's a thing there. I have maybe I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if Max was the one that commanded. Huh, let's see something here. Why don't I amend that a little bit? Let's see something here first, though. Okay. Um, I'm going to. Okay. Maybe I'll put it at the end here. Here. Let's do it at the end because I gotta. If I'm gonna add this, I gotta add this here. Okay. note about a possible revision to is it Red Story or Violet Story? Red and Violet story concerning grandma. So, also concerning Max. Okay. So Kurt says that Max ordered him to get grandma. But when confronting okay, wait a second. Right, so he's talking to Red. Uh, Kurt. Kurt was originally a cowardly werewolf, and it was just going to be a funny thing I was going to add, but I decided to change it, which I don't know. I still like the idea, but there's too many good guys. You know, they should at least be balanced, if not maybe slightly less good guys than the bad guys. So it looks like they won. You know, kind of like the underdog thing. Kurt the Cowardly Werewolf. Interesting. After hearing loud noises from his uncle's room, looks and sees his uncle change into a werewolf. Then Ulrich crouches on all fours and runs, biting Kurt on the way. Kurt follows Ulrich, who spots Red Riding Hood and speeds to Granny. Kurt peers into Granny's window, and to his horror, Granny shoots him. Kurt learns Red has come out of hiding and then tries to find a way to remove his cowardice. Kurt finds Hubert, but Hubert won't cast a spell. Instead, he tells him to find a wizard named Buddy. I don't know about this Buddy character, but whatever. Um, okay, so let's speed up here. Kurt gets to eat Red. Um, Violet tells Red to recruit Kurt. Max brings Red out of hiding. Violet tells Red to find and recruit Kurt, as only Violet knows how Kurt's related. Not sure what that means. Some story idea I had at some point. She visits a wizard named Buddy. Uh, Finds out the two packs fight against each other. They had a full, completely different thing, and I completely changed it. So now Kurt is just another villain. Command of the Wolfpack and Elite Army. Red is responsible for recruiting the Wolfpack so that like Notable Kurt manages to make a deal with Violet. Okay. Kurt ate her grandma, confronts him, he grabs her. After a few days, they bring Red out, tell him the decision. He ends up eliminating. Okay. Max replies he doesn't know what she's talking about and goes back to the wolf pack. And Kurt jumps out of the bushes. Let's see what we got here. Makes a deal with Violet to get rid of the long-standing problem she's had with Red. She'll make Kurt the leader of the pack if he disposes of Red, which he does. Um, Scarlet shows up in the werewolf village. Uh, Kurt remembers the rivalry, seeks out Violet. Uh, casts a spell on Kurt. Kurt comes back, claims leadership. Remove the curse, causes Kurt to audibly object. Argument between him and Rottweiler and Rottweiler's third in command, Thorn. After making a deal with Violet to eliminate Red, Kurt comes back to find that Thorn has already talked to the clans and gets most of them to go along with the deal Rottweiler set up. Kurt and Thorn have an argument which almost comes to blows. Okay. Rottweiler's asleep on his cot. Kurt comes back. The werewolves are generally all changed. Okay. Need to clean up the chronology of the plot outline. Dragon's already enchanted by Kurtooth because it happens before we're introduced to either John or Hubert. Zanzibar is able to escape after confusion because Max is being called away on account of heroes storming the castle. However, at a later date, he sees flying trains coming in that weren't scheduled. Need to rearrange the chronology. Possible subplot for Max involves him liking Red and maybe wanting to get rid of Violet. Violet is jealous, so she gets Kurt to take care of her in return for making him leader of the pack. When Max finally figures out what happened, he decides he's going to take care of Violet himself. Um, I'm getting confused by my own story. My own convoluted story. Okay. Um, okay. Kurt wants to become the leader. Eliminating the curse. Promise to remove the curse. Curse helps out. Okay. The dragon's already enchanted. Okay, already. I don't know. I'm a little confused now. I'm kind of stuck. I don't know if the grandma plot just sort of melted away or something. I don't know. Pardon me for scratching my armpits. Okay. Um, Violet moon shadow, violet, violet, violet. I'm just trying to figure out if there's a reason to have the filing cabinet. It's almost assuredly going to be a filing cabinet in there somewhere. But I don't have a reason for it, a purpose for the filing cabinet. What does it have in there? What would be important enough to what have in there? One of the things I was thinking of was that the fact that they might have had Red Riding Hood's file there, or might have even had Violet's file. Maybe they have both of them. Hmm. When does Hubert learn that Violet? It could be right here. It could actually be the deal right here. Okay, well, maybe I'll ask ChatGPT because maybe it will give me an idea. Um, window. Okay, pardon me. Okay, so it's Friday the 19th, uh, and I am on a new story beat. And this story beat, John manages his way into Princess Prep. Um, he the important information here is that Princess Karen's um, itinerary, I, I, itinerary. It's a long way to itinerary. I mean, Tipperary. The important information here is that Princess Karen's itinerary starts with um, a room at the Grand Enchanted Landing, and then the head mistress, Miss, who's been trapped inside an enchanted. What do they call that? Pica? Let's see some here. What is a large plant you put in your office? Um, I need something that's more well known, something that grows kind of tall, large leaves that you might typically find in an office. Ficus. Okay. Well, an interesting thing is I was thinking Ficus, but wasn't sure that was correct. In fact, I know that name more than fiddle leaf fig or something else. If it's a very common and accurate answer for a large office plant. The term ficus refers to a genus of plants in the fig family. Several types are widely used as large indoor trees in offices. The most common one you're thinking of is Ficus benjamina, often called the weeping fig. Grow to 6 or 10 feet or more indoors. Slender trunk, canopy of branches, large glossy leaves, oval shape, dark green leaves. Okay, good. Ficus. Okay. All right, so I can just say ficus, right? Ficus plant. 4 months. Claims she overheard and overheard a female voice she can identify as Violet. Heard both a male and female voice, male and female voices. Female voices. The male saying that the female needed to go back to Fairy God College. So the main info here is the fact that the princess is supposed to be at the hotel, and the female is supposed to be at Fairy God College. Please acknowledge. I might not get done today, 20 minutes left. I mean, it shouldn't take very long, but I still have to figure out what I want to put in the filing cabinet here. Headmistress, the second lieutenant Ficus Plant overheard a male voice saying the female voice needed to return to Fair God College. To the critical takeaway. The other to Fairy God College. I've done it. Okay. Well, Not exactly. I'm going to put some uh I'm going to split it into a few pages so that the player still feels agency here. And I might come up with some sort of puzzle involving getting into princess prep. Although they don't have any magic words on this school. Maybe an oversight on part of the villains. See what it says. Okay. Spending a few pages keeps the pace dynamic. Okay. Villains didn't hoard the place because they wanted it to look abandoned. Sounds real positive psychological to whoever's walking. Symbolic barrier. If there's no magical protection, you could play up something small like a big banner, clothes, or ominous graffiti. Go home, princesses, left by the villains. Those could just be how John decides to interpret. No, that's okay. What I'm trying to come up with is, so is this. So, I'm thinking of what's in an office, like a principal's office or the mistress's office. So I came up with, of course, desk, the two ficus plants behind her chair. And I was thinking most offices might have a filing cabinet. I'm trying to figure out what the filing cabinet could have in it. Because I need a, if I'm going to put it in there, it needs to be in there. And if I don't put it in there, then it's like empty. It's like, okay. And when I'm actually making a picture of it, I might have a filing cabinet in there. It wouldn't be without a filing cabinet. Enrollment records, right? Could discover the folders have yanked out except for the vampire princess, whose file's still in there. Why is she left behind? That could be a good thing. In fact, the vampire princess, she's actually, in fact, she's actually there, uh, when, I don't remember what the reason I had her being there, when she's actually trapped or whatever. And, so that's a possibility. I can be introducing that as far as, the Count's, mate that he's looking for. And I could actually do a setup, and it would just be just a little informational thing. It won't even be it won't be a vital piece of information. It'll just be a thing, kind of cluing you in, like a. That's not a bad idea. Have type memos from the headmistresses of the royal families. Maybe someone was going to believe there's danger to the students. If you act too quickly, the rest is missing. That could be a thing. Because remember, they closed Princess Prep. And so Curse lipstick notes pass in class. That's actually not a bad idea. In fact, if I really want to work some items into like a puzzle, well, she probably have, it's like your teacher or a principal or whatever. They sometimes a lot of the times they have like this desk drawer, right, that has all these stuff that they confiscated from the students, right, that were playing around in class. No matter what it is, it's little knickknacks, toys, whatever's in there, and that could be a thing that later on you need some items from here. So, in fact, I had to put that down as a note. Um, I'm gonna table that for a second. Um, Possible princess prep has some items that are needed that were confiscated from students in the past that could be used for inventory puzzles in the near future. We'll leave it like that. Okay. Oh, I don't care. Whatever. All right. Um, Smoking gun. That's a good question. If I have to have now I don't strictly speaking have to have the filing cabinet in there, but that's what you'd expect in a principal's office or whatever. So I'm thinking it'll have some records, but you can have a few things that are just comic relief, or things that don't really mean anything. Um, I'm currently deciding that um definitely would contain enrollment records, or maybe even a file on each of the students. Um, I forgot about the vampire princess. She she could probably be in there to tie into the story later. I was considering it containing the files for Violet, Moon Shadow, and Scarlet, Red, Clover, because they have sort of a love. Yes, with with max. So much so that Violet arranges to get rid of Red by having Kurt dispose of her. I don't know if you know any of these names of characters in the game. So I was trying to tie in their rivalry in there as some extra ancillary information. This would show that Violet is back as well. This would also lay some groundwork for what happens to them in the future. Yep, I managed to do nothing today again. Not true exactly. I'm probably gonna tie in the Vampire Princess story in there. I have to go back to the Vampire Princess stuff just to so I can see how to tie that in there, how it's relevant here. Well, they're both in the tangle around man, so I arranged for Red to beat up would be a crit is a big deal. So hinting at through the files would be a clever way to foreshadow their arcs without spilling the whole stew right now. Each student has a tidy file, but many are mysteriously missing. Vampire Princess file is still there. Curiosity, since she's still around. Yeah, why would her that? Well, I don't know if I'll even use that at all, but container itinerary. Inappropriate use of glamour charms in class excels at manipulation. Keep an eye on her. It's actually coming up with things that I'm coming real close to using myself because that's just the sort of thing that's this the sort of thing that I want in there anyways. So I might have to do like a humor pass as well, where I go through and after I got the narrative working, just put in little funny things, stuff like references and just goofy stuff like this. He's raised suspicion of something shady happened between them. Confidential Larry and Violet's file recommending her for extended studies at Fairy God College at Eat Bridge between the two schools. Scarlet's file containing a torn scribble note. If anything happens, it was her. This way, the player's choice when opening the cabinet is essentially: do they look at the Vampire Princess file, hooking into her subplot, or do they look at the Violet Scarlet's records foreshadowing the rivalry? Both options feed in the future story beats, but in different directions. Um, at this point, uh, so there's going to be three things. One is examining the desk. Headmistress's desk. Desk. Um, the other is examining the plant. Examining plant. And the other is looking inside the filing cabinet. All three happen. So I'm just trying to decide the best thing to put into the filing cabinet. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because all these things that I keep adding stuff in, and I went, well, how does this tie in? How does this tie into the thing? How does this tie into the thing? And usually can figure that out. So it'll make the story a little bit more rich and stuff. Okay, that's actually not a bad idea. And actually, all this will do is just because he's looking for a mate, and then when they rescue the princesses out of the books, the vampire princess is one of them. So um, I remember she's at the school when the vanishings happen. Subplot. As a balance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be doing that probably. Hmm. At the office, John will investigate a filing cabinet which may have info about the vampire princess as well as Violet and Red's file about their rivalry in the past. The guest will have info about Princess Erin's upcoming visit, and the plants will actually have the trapped headmistress. Okay, just gonna leave that. Okay, so I guess that'll do it for this time. So I guess we won't be doing this princess prep thing until Monday. Um, I might have to do some more thinking about what I need to add in there, and try to get that done on Monday or the next Monday. It might not be this Monday. I might decide to take another week off and just do this every couple of weeks so that I can have time. Maybe I'll do it as a regular thing. Maybe it'll be a consistent thing where I do 2 weeks on and then 1 week off and 2 weeks on, and I keep doing that so that I have time to do stuff in the house that I need to, and at the same time, I'm still working on my thing here and whatever. So, so yeah. So I'll see you in about an hour. If you're interested in me coding up my layout tool, and hopefully I'll get the clicking and dragging stuff working today. So, anyways, thanks for watching part one, and I'll see you in about an hour or on Monday after next, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you for watching part one. See you in an hour.